Good morning, everyone. This is Chelsea Jones with Illinois WorkNet. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad we have a good audience. So the agenda for today is I'm just going to review how to access the layoff recovery tools. I'm going to do an overview of the updates that we have done to the survey reporting tool. And then I'm going to go into a live demo and actually show you what it looks like, how to use it, so you guys can be familiar with it for when you go to use it. And then I'll answer any questions that come up along the way. So accessing the Layoff Recovery Partner tools, you can get there the same way no matter what page you're on in Illinois WorkNet. So you'll come to Illinois WorkNet, www.illinoisworknet.com. I know you're all familiar with that. And then you'll scroll to the bottom of the screen. Now any screen you're on, you can follow the same steps. You'll scroll all the way to the bottom and select Partner Resources. Once you select that, you're going to be taken to the Workforce Partner Pathway. Now you'll know you're on the Workforce Partner Pathway because your menu changes from orange to blue. So once you see that blue menu, you know you're in the partner area. That means you're in the right spot. And then you'll scroll down a little bit to our programs listing, and then the Layoff Recovery Guide icon, which I have over here on the right, is going to be in that listing. Now, it might not always be in the same spot. Right here, you can see it's number 2. This list is very dynamic and changes depending on what programs are going on or what new tools have been released, but it'll always be within that area somewhere. So the purpose for the webinar today, as you all know, is we've been working on an update to the Layoff Recovery Survey Reporting tool. A lot of you have used it in the past, and you know that we had some problems with speed, and then there was some intermittent issues, with it timing out on some computers, depending on where you worked and what browser you're using, that there's just some issues. So that was the first thing we wanted to address with this update, was making it faster. So now you can pull a report for any company, whether there's been 2 reports completed or 100, 200, and they all run about the same amount of time. It takes about 5 seconds to get that report to run now. So instead of waiting a couple minutes like you had to before, you're in there within seconds. And the next updates we looked at was how to make it a little more friendly or user-friendly for you to make the process of going in and getting the information easier for you so you don't have to take too much time since we're all busy people. So the first update is you now have the option to filter all of the columns. And when I go into the live demo, I'll show you how this works. But each column on your landing page is now filterable to help you find what you're looking for quicker. We also provide the a column with the number of surveys that have been completed. So instead of wondering if there's been any surveys and taking the time to run a report to see if anyone has taken your survey, we now have a column that gives you that number right up front, so you don't have to take the time to run a report if no surveys have been completed. And then the last main update that we did was we're now providing you the option to see the survey of the laid-off worker that has requested follow-up. So all of you know that when a laid-off worker completes the survey, they have the option to say, I would like someone to contact me. And then you get a list of people that have said they want to be followed up with. Before, you only got the contact information for that person. But now we're giving you a link to their actual survey so you know what they've answered, you know the information that they've provided when you go to call or email them, which should make it easier for you to be able to communicate with them. And with that, I know that was a really quick PowerPoint. Like I said, that's it. I'm going to pull over my share screen so I can get the live demo up and running and actually show you it in working. So you should be seeing the Illinois WorkNet homepage right now. If you could just raise your hand again just to let me know that you can actually see my screen. Okay, great. Thank you. So I know all of you are familiar with this, the Illinois WorkNet homepage. I'm just going to go through the steps that was in that PowerPoint just so you can see it in action. Like I said, any page, you're going to scroll all the way down. And you're going to go to the footer. So this black bar across the bottom is our footer. And right in the middle is our partner resources link. So now you see, like I said, our menu is now blue. And so that identifies that you're in the workforce partner area. And then if you scroll down again, you can see there's the layoff assistance guide. So like I said, right now it's in the number 2 spot. You can see that we have quite a few icons. You know, next time you come in here, it might be somewhere else, but it's always going to be on this landing page for you to get to. So this is the Layoff Recovery Guide for Partners. This is just the landing page with all of the links for all of the resources and tools that are available. So I'm just going to quickly go over each one of these pages. I'm not going to go into detail, but just in case you haven't been on the site in a while or you just need a refresher. The first link on the left is our updates page. So this provides a timeline for updates and new tools, releases that we've actually done specifically regarding layoff recovery on the site. So you can see it's actually really long. We post when we put out a new document, when we update documents. After we release this new survey reporting tool, that'll go at the top of the list. So if you're ever curious about what's been done, what's new, what's changed, you can always come to the timeline and get that quick view here. So the next one is frequently asked questions. We all know what that means. You can go here. If your question's not listed, there's an option to submit a question. It'll come to our team, and then we'll answer it, post it, and email you back. And then there's also archived training materials. So after the webinar this morning, this webinar will be downloaded and archived, and we'll post it here along with the PowerPoint and any other resources so you can access it at any time in case you need a refresher or you want someone else to watch it because they need to have the information. And then the last link is our resources and printables. I just want to click on this just as a quick reminder to all of you that we do have marketing materials that you can use at your layoff worker workshops or in your offices, or if you're going to a company, anything like that. We have just the materials. We have ones that are not customizable, but then we have ones that you can download and customize if you want, along with our icon and then the brochures. And then on the right are just some additional resources to other things on workNet, and then some state and federal links. And then on the middle of the page is where you actually get to the tools. So the business layoffs and closings, the partner dashboard, and the reporting dashboard, these are those main tools that you're all familiar with to create, manage the company layoff pages, and also that survey reporting, which is what we're going to cover. The first one, getting started, this one isn't actually a tool, but it's more of an overview of the steps that you as a rapid response specialist could use on using Illinois workNet. So it covers the steps that you would take, you know, adding a company to IWDS, coming to Illinois workNet. It literally just goes through the step-by-step process from the time a layoff occurs to all the way of keeping the company page updated throughout the layoff period. Under materials, we do have those instructional guides. So like I said, the survey reporting instructional guide has now been updated to reflect the updates made to the tool. And so if you don't download that here this morning, you can come to this page at any time and you can download that. So I'm going to stick this link in the webinar real quick just so we all have it for future reference. And then we also have our follow-up procedures and a listing of the access list since the layoff recovery tools are not accessible by all of our partners. It's just specific people. So if someone needed a page created and they didn't have access, they could pull the access list and know who to contact. Or they could just contact us, of course. So Eric on our tech team has made updates and the reporting dashboard tool is ready to go. Unfortunately, right now you're not going to be able to access it by clicking the reporting dashboard right here. What we want to do is get that out there today. It's not available right now, so I'm going to show you outside of SharePoint, which is this other tab I have open. But once we get it available, you'll come the same steps that we just took to get here. So you'll come and click on reporting dashboard, and that's going to get you to where you need to go. But for right now, I'm just going to go over to this new tab and show it to you. And so you can see this is completely different than how it used to look. This is how it'll look when you first come to the page. This is the landing page now for the survey reporting. Each page at the top is going to have a sentence or two telling you what that page does or what that page is for or how you'll use it, etc. And then this is where you'll come to pull the reports. So it says we're showing 1 to 192 entries. What that means is there's been 192 pages created within Illinois WorkNet, which is kind of a lot. Now, all of those are not active on the site. Some of these have been expired, but they're always going to be showing here because we're always going to keep that survey data in the system. So this number is just going to continue to grow. So I'm just going to go through each column, what it does, what it means, and then I'm going to actually run a report so you can see how much faster it goes and see how that looks. So the first column is the company name, very self-explanatory, but now you have the option to search by a company name. So you just click in the text box and you just start typing anything, and you can see that the list starts to filter based on what you started typing in. So whatever company you're looking for, you'll just come in here and type, and it's going to start narrowing your options. Each column header is also clickable to filter it that way. So for company name, you can filter alphabetically A to Z or Z to A. All you have to do is click on the header, and it will do that for you. The same with the next column, which is the LWIA number for each of the companies. If you click the LWIA header, it's going to go from 1 to 26. You click it again, it's going to go from 26 to 1. And then you also have the option to click the drop-down and go specifically to your LWIA. So we're providing the survey report for the whole state to everyone because that was the way it was set up. And so you can run a report on literally every survey that's been done statewide. But if obviously you're able to come into your LWIA specifically, and then it's going to narrow down to the company pages that have been created just for your LWIA. So if you're in LWIA 4, you're in LWIA 11, you're going to be able to click on your LWIA and get the pages just for you. And then if you ever need to get back, you just click all, and that's going to bring them all back. The third column is the debts ID number. So this is that number that's coming from debts. So you're using this number on the paperwork that's with that company layoff in the actual debt system, and now you're able to use it in this system to search for your company as well. So if you'd rather search by that number instead of the company name, you're more than welcome to just come in here and start typing in a number, and you can see it's just starting to narrow based on what I'm typing in. And the same as the other columns, you can click on this header, and it's going to go from smallest to largest, and then largest to smallest. The fourth column is that new column I said that we've started pulling in, which is the number of surveys. So this tells you how many surveys have been completed for each company. So you can see it's 0 for the first one, 1, 18, 0, 26 for BOMAG, 17 for AirTex. So this will let you know how many surveys have been completed and whether you should run a report. So you no longer have to go find your company, click run to find out, oh, no surveys have been completed. That was a waste of my time. So now you can get it first view, first glance of coming to the page. Again, this column is also sortable. You can do it by smallest to largest or largest to smallest. You can see our largest amount of surveys so far is for the Mitsubishi, which has over 700 surveys entered. And I'm going to go ahead and generate a report for that one just so you can see how quickly it's going to run for a layoff that has that amount of survey data. So to run a report, you can see this last column says select. You have the option to select as many companies as you want. You could go through and click this one button that's going to select them all if you want to do statewide. Or you can go through and literally check as many as you want or just one. It's completely up to what you need to do. So I'm going to click select, and then I'm going to click generate report. And then, like I said, it's about 5 to 10 seconds now is the run time. So you can see it's already ran. We have our results. So that is super quick and should cut the time it takes you to run reports so down a lot. So this is the survey for Mitsubishi, and I'm not going to go into the follow-up on this report, but I'll go into everything else. So this is the chart view for the surveys. You'll notice if you've used the past reporting system that this is pretty much looks the same as it did before. You have the option to export all of them, and this is actually going to export it to a PDF. We are going to make an update to that because as of right now, it takes all of these charts and puts them into one page of a PDF, which when you print it is really not usable because it's tiny. So we're going to make an update to that to where it prints to multiple pages so you can actually use the charts as a PDF. But you still have the option of downloading each chart individually. So maybe you only want to know who'd be willing to relocate, or you want to know how many people use what social media sites. Maybe you're trying to figure out how you can better reach laid off workers. You can pull just this chart and find out and use it, to tell your team, okay, we need to use Facebook more because 34% of the workers here use Facebook. Or you'll find out 23% don't use any, and so maybe social media is not a good way to reach out to these workers. So you could run and pull just this chart if you need to. And then the same with any of the other ones. You can pull it as a PNG, a JPEG, a PDF, or a vector image, which is an SVG. Let me go back up to the top. And I do see the questions coming in, and I will address them after we go through this. So keep them coming if you have them, and we'll go through each one. So back at the top, the next, you can see our little options here, chart, details, and follow-up. These are our button options. The second one is details. So this takes all the data that we were just looking at in the charts and lists it out in raw form. So for the first question, last date or expected date of work, you can see all the answers and how many people selected that answer. And it literally lists out every single answer. So for this survey, you can see we have a lot because there's been so many surveys entered. So that's one perk of the chart view, is because some of the graphs take the data that we're given and it ranges them. So it will take a range of the their pay wage, and it's going to range it. And it takes a couple of the other fields and ranges it for this chart. But we know that a lot of times you need that raw data. You need to know every single answer. And so that's listed here in the details view. And just like in the old system, you can export this to a .csv, and then you can save it as an Excel, and you can manipulate it as you need. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go into the follow-up on this page because I want to use this recording on the website, and if I went to that, it's going to show personal information for the laid-off workers, and I don't want to show that. So I'm going to go back to the main landing page, and to do that, anytime you're in here, all you do is click New Report. So this button, New Report, will take you back to the landing page of the survey reporting tool. And then this morning, I went ahead and just entered a couple of surveys for a company that didn't have any. So this is all fake data that we're about to see, and we're going to delete out of the system after this webinar. But I just wanted to let everyone see all of the functionality of the system, and so that's why we entered that fake data. So I'm going to go ahead and click Select, and then I'm going to click Generate Report, just like before. And we'll see 5 to 10 seconds. So we have our survey data report right here that we can export. So we already went into the chart and details. I'm going to go into the follow-up. So this screen shows all of the laid-off workers that have identified, yes, I want someone to contact me. And then once they select yes, it's required that they enter their first name, last name, and then a phone number or an email. That's the only information we require them to enter. They have the option of doing a date of birth, their gender, and their veteran status, but that's completely optional. So you can see that 4 people said that they wanted to be followed up with. This page also has some filtering options as well. So if you're running maybe a report on 2 different companies, you can search by company name or DETS ID number. If you have someone that comes into your office or your center and says, oh, I filled out a survey online, you could come in here and search by their name, and then you could pull their survey, and you could be able to communicate with them based on what they answered. And then you also have, of course, the option to archive. So once you've emailed or called someone, you've worked with them, and you're ready to archive them, you would click Archive User, and it's going to say successful. You know, you archived that user. They're no longer here. And then if you go to the archived page, you can see now I'm on the archived view instead of the require follow-up view. So require follow-up is the people who have not yet been talked to by anyone. Once you archive them, you come over here, you're going to see that person was followed up with. And then you can also export this to a .csv as well. So if you need to run an export to have that data, to keep track of it, maybe take notes, you can do that. And then like I said, we now have the option to view the survey answers from someone. So you can see each of these rows has the stats ID number. It looks like a little link. So if you click on the link, it's going to open in a new tab, and you're going to see all of the answers that I answered for the survey. So you can print this out, you can have it in front of you, whatever you need to do when you're calling or emailing that laid off worker for you to have. And then again, like if I'm done here, I followed up with someone, I'm ready to go back, I'll just click New Report, and that's going to take me back. And then I just wanted to show you one other thing before I start answering the questions that have come in. If you select more than one survey, so I'm just going to select a couple at random and generate that report. At the top, instead of listing them all out, because maybe you ran a report for your entire LWIA and there's 10 companies, instead of listing out 10 companies here at the top, which would really drag the page down, we've just said that there's been multiple sources, and so you click the plus sign, and it's going to list out each company that you chose. So that's just a reference for you, just in case you need to say, oh, you know, I don't remember, did I pull this company in or not? You just click this little plus sign, and it's going to show you all the companies that you've selected to run a report on. I'm going to come back over and look at the, is it possible to link the updated WIOA marketing materials? Ron, I'm not sure which materials you're referencing. Are you talking about a brochure, or could you maybe just provide something a little more specific? So I know you're talking about the marketing materials page that we visited, but I'm just not sure specifically what materials. And then Kathleen, with your question regarding the batch entry, I was going to get to this, but I'll talk about it now. That's actually the next thing our team is going to be focusing on. That's the next thing on our plate in regard to the layoff recovery tools, is we're going to look into a different way or a new way for the batch entering, because we know entering the surveys one by one is time consuming for your for the staff to enter. And what our team is hoping to look into, or our first step, or what we want to look into, is a scanning option. And so on our end, it's going to take researching what we need to do to the surveys to make them scannable. And then on the other end, we're going to have to look at what tools the people, the staff in the field are going to need to actually scan those surveys. So that's the first thing we're going to be looking into, is a scanning option. So that's, like I said, the next thing we're looking at. Nothing has been done with it yet, so it's not something that's going to be provided within the next week or month, but that is the next thing on our list. Annie, is there any way to aggregate data by an LWIA region or state? So you can, let me go back to new report and let me know if there's anything, if I'm not, answering how you wanted it to be answered. So if you wanted to pull all of the data for maybe just a specific LWIA, if you go to the LWIA drop-down and maybe select LWIA 4, you're going to click Select All. So that's going to take all of the surveys for that specific LWIA, and you're going to generate that report. And then you'll get the charts. Okay. Well, I'll finish going through this just so we can see. So this one's taking a couple seconds longer. But once it pulls, we'll see that this is the data for that entire LWIA. And now the charts might not be very helpful here because, as you can see, this first one is huge. There's a lot of info. But then that details view is going to give you that all listed out as well. The only thing with this data is, it's all of that LWIA. So it's not broken down by company, obviously, because you're doing all of the companies together. So all of the answers are together in that raw data form listed out. So you can export this, use it, or you can use the chart view. and then Ron, the WIOA flyer for dislocated workers. We do have the WIOA benefits brochure. Let me click on that. Now this was updated recently, and I'm not sure if this is the one you're referencing. This was revised in October. So we did update this one recently. It now says WIOA, and the text and everything for this one, as well as the trade and WARN, were all updated within the same time frame. So these have all been reviewed for accuracy and updated in October to ensure that we're providing the right information and that you guys have updated materials to use. And the trade one went through a big update as well because previously I think we had a couple different ones, so now it's all just one trade flyer, and it was updated in September. So we have the PDF version. If you don't want to make any updates, you don't want to put any contact information, you can, let me pop that in here. So you can download the PDF and print that. It's not customizable, but then we also do provide the Word version for any local areas that want to add, their contact information for a specific person or just their office address and phone number. Anything they want, the Word version will allow them that area right in here on the front page to put in that contact information. The rest of the document is locked down, so nothing else can be edited, but except for that little area in the middle to add your contact information. So I think I answered the question so far. Kathleen, I see that, you do push the paper, which I definitely, we definitely hear that a lot of the people do use the paper surveys because it's hard to, be able to rely on having even Wi-Fi at the workshops and everything like that. So that's one of the main reasons we really want to look into that option of giving you guys a faster way to get those in. So we'll definitely keep all of the rapid response staff updated on our progress on that, and hopefully we'll get something out there that's much quicker for all of you. And that's all I had to show you guys today. I just wanted to keep it focused on the reporting part first. But now that we're done with that, while you're all here, I'm definitely open to taking any other questions. If you have any questions regarding the layoffs and closings area, the partner dashboard, managing pages, anything like that, or anything you want to re-see in the survey reporting tool. I know I scheduled an hour for this in the registration. I didn't think it would take an hour, but I didn't want to say only half an hour and then questions run us over. So I have nothing else today, but I see a couple of people typing, so any questions, anything you want to see, just let me know and I can show you, or answer, either one. And then while those people are typing, I'm also just going to put this link in the chat as well. Thanks, Cindy and Mike. I'm glad you guys got to see it, and I really hope it is much more helpful and quicker for all of you. I appreciate your time today of joining us. And then what I'm going to do is send out an email to all staff that have access to the tools once we do add that link right here from to get to the reporting dashboard. Because like I said right now, when we viewed it, it's, I didn't view it from that page. I didn't click that link. So we're going to update this page to link to that new survey reporting, and I'll send out an email to everyone just so you know it's available because it's been down and offline for about 2 weeks now, so I'm sure some of you really need to get some reports pulled. So we hope to have that out to you all today. So I will send that email. If anyone comes up with any questions or anything after the webinar this morning, you can always call me or shoot me an email, and we'll get anything answered. So thank you all for joining us, and happy holidays to